this whole thing, to me, it is so obvious, and I feel like you and I have been waiting for something like this to happen, because as we have mentioned previously, that we were both, on the edges of our seats waiting to see what was next in the time between now and the 2020 election. And if you're just patient, the entertainment will come. And this is the next thing.
It sure is, dude. It really is. And before we get into having a full-blown conversation about this and everything else we want to cover, I want to do a pretty in-depth analysis from my perspective on what this Ukraine situation really is. Because I think it's important, and like I said before, this is nothing more than a continuation. We might as well just keep calling it Russiagate, because it's the same thing. I mean, there's really nothing new going on here. It's the same people, same operatives, same playbook. They're doing the same stuff. But the interesting thing about the Ukraine gate, though, for me, is it's kind of painted a picture. It's at least made the picture more clear for me as to what it is these people are really up to and what they're really trying to hide. Because, I mean, all it is a projection, right? I mean, the president is being accused of doing what these other people are, in fact, doing themselves. That's what's going on here. And it's an old trick. And, here's where I want to go with this. I personally...
I'm over here laughing, man. It's cracking me up. I'm LOLing over here just because it's exactly as you say. It's so obvious. It's childhood antics. And I know we've been doing it for so long, but it's just, when you really look at it, it's such garbage.
It is. It's a bad movie, man.
This is Fast and the Furious 10,
It's such garbage. I mean, the worst movie producer in the world wouldn't take this on if it was a guaranteed blockbuster hit. That's how bad it is.
Korean Drift. It's
Exactly. That's what it is. And here's the interesting part. The mainstream media, the mainstream just blood-sucking, do-nothing, disgraceful media, they want us to think this is about Joe Biden. That's what they want us to think. And that's definitely by design. And I think that for a number of reasons. But if you look at the Trump transcript, and this is key, I think the Democrats had their hands on this transcript, or at least had inside information to the contents of the transcript. And the reason I say that is because of one thing that President Trump said on that call, and that's when he mentions CrowdStrike. Okay? So CrowdStrike is absolutely key. It's absolutely crucial for a number of reasons, and I think that was the key word that set this BS Ukraine saga into motion. So CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity tech company based in California. Now, what's significant about CrowdStrike? Well, CrowdStrike was the company that analyzed the DNC servers following the DNC email hack, or what I like to call leak.
Yes.
All right? So Trump says in this call, he doesn't say anything about Biden at this point. He's not talking about Biden. He says, and I've heard CrowdStrike. And then they go on to talk about that briefly. I think that was the key. I think that's what set this whole thing in motion. CrowdStrike was at the center of Russiagate. And once you really get into it, you start realizing that Russiagate was really nothing more than a distraction from what the Clinton, Obama, and DNC circle had going on pre-Trump election, which included, but wasn't limited to, spying on the Trump campaign. So in short, CrowdStrike analyzed the DNC servers after the DNC emails were leaked, not hacked as they say, and concluded, and this is important, that they were hacked by the Russians. Then, the DNC emails are published by WikiLeaks. Key element here.
Look how he was treated.
Don't even get me started, man.
That's a whole other thing right there.
Gosh. So, DNC emails are published by WikiLeaks, and that exposes the DNC and their dirtbag buddies for being the losers that they really are. So, DNC freaks out, hires CrowdStrike to investigate how WikiLeaks obtained the emails. DNC servers are analyzed by CrowdStrike, not the FBI, which is definitely interesting. And then CrowdStrike determines that Russia hacked into the DNC servers. So, here's another angle. Enter Seth Rich. Now, this is a story in itself, but quickly, Seth Rich was a DNC staffer, and it was alleged and claimed by Julian Assange that he was the DNC email leaker. So, if Julian Assange, the man who actually released the emails, claimed that Seth Rich was the one who leaked them, I'm going with that over the DNC claim that they were hacked by the Russians.
He's been pretty dead on with everything he's done, regardless of what you think of him.
Right? I don't consider him to be a liar. That's for sure. And there's some intriguing evidence out there that Rich was and there is intriguing evidence out there that Rich was in fact the one who leaked the emails. It sure as hell wasn't the Russians. I mean, I can't even get into
When
that.
are we going to end with this Russia thing?
And to make this even weirder, the Seth Rich angle, I mean, he was murdered. And they haven't figured out who murdered him. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who believe the DNC Clinton people murdered him, and that's totally plausible to me. I mean, if he leaked those emails to WikiLeaks, he's got to go.
He had to go.
All right, so getting back to CrowdStrike, and this is super important because the CEO of CrowdStrike is on what's called the Atlantic Council. And the Atlantic Council, it's a political think tank, is connected to every single deep state rat involved in this whole deal, including, but not limited to, Obama, Clinton, Biden, John Kerry, and that whole group of people. So CrowdStrike, Atlantic Council, you've got all those dirtbag Dems connected. They're all buddies. So just to wrap this up, let's say you're a deep state thug and you find out your emails have been leaked to an outlet like WikiLeaks. You know WikiLeaks is going to publish the emails, and you also think you know who did it. What do? Well, you hire a firm like CrowdStrike, a company that all your friends work for, and you pay them to analyze your servers to find out what happened, knowing they'll come to a conclusion that works for you. Then you kill the guy who leaked the emails to keep him from talking, and then you and your dirtbag friends, you blame it all on Russia, and then you accuse the guy who you're scared to death of being exposed by, Donald Trump, of being in the bag with Russia to steal the election from the chosen witch, Hillary Clinton, who was supposed to inherit the presidency from her buddy, Barack Hussein Obama.
And if anybody, let me just state that if anybody hears what you just said, Dom, and is like, no way, the U.S., deep state, whatever you want to call it, the government would never do something like that. We've already forgotten about Epstein.
Exactly. And dude, that
is, if you were ever looking for the pudding to find proof in that your worst fears will and can be confirmed, that is it.
That is it. And I'm so glad you said that, man, because just to top it all off, what did we learn from the DNC email leak? What we learned was that John Podesta, Hillary's campaign manager, him and all his loser friends talking pedophile code when they're emailing each other, which turned into Pizzagate. All right?
Yes.
It is all connected, dude. Epstein, Pizzagate, DNC, Russiagate, Ukraine, it's all connected. And that's what these people are scared of. That's why Donald...
And if you dig into it, the same stuff is below the surface. That's the problem. If you look into it, it's the same furnace that's feeding the new fire. The same code with all this nonsense, all these people, all related. It's so incestuous that, and it's so there for you to see. It's not that well hidden.
It's not. It's done in plain sight, and there's credence in the fact that if you get into the spiritual side of things, these evil beings out there, they have to do it out in the open. They have to let you know what they're doing, and they do it anyway, and you don't notice, but you are being told what's going on. And to me, bro, this whole Ukraine thing blew the lid wide open, opened my eyes, really made me understand what's at play here. And it all goes back to CrowdStrike and the DNC email server situation. because that's where all the dirt is, dude. That's where it all is. And they don't want us talking about that. They want us talking about like it's like Joe Biden. Like that's the big story here.
They're
Come
slandering
on.
Joe. He needs ammo against Joe for the debate stage. Are you kidding me?
It's so silly, dude. It's so absurd, and they think we're all idiots. So, and that's, you know what? That's their bad, because we're not. We're not idiots, and the majority of us aren't either. And they're gonna get theirs, dude. They really are. It's gonna go down, and they're gonna get theirs, and they're gonna have nowhere to hide, and nobody's gonna feel sorry for them. And eventually, and it may not happen within our lifetimes, it may not happen on this earth at all, but they're gonna get theirs, guaranteed.
And just on a small timeline, think about the rebuilding process that the Democratic Party will have to do after all this nonsense. Because there's some real, straight up, great Democrats out there that are
absolutely
shaking their heads, man. I mean, they have turned their party. Most solid, strong, convicted Democrats have stopped associating with this party because it's a charade.
I mean, that's all there is to it. And we're spending. I feel like we spend all this time bashing on the Dems, but I want to make sure it's clear. When I say the Democrats, what I really mean is the Democrats and those rhino Republicans in there that are all on the same team, and they're all slapping each other on the butt and giving each other high fives and doing dirty deals and just acting like general pieces of garbage. It's the whole package, man.
Oh, 100%. It crosses lines. It's not blue, it's not red. In fact, the corruption is purple, bro. We're not turning states purple. Texas is not going to be a purple state. The whole deep state is a shining purple hue.
I really hope that people are waking up today, tomorrow, this week, and going, this doesn't sound right. This is just not what's going on. Something else is at play here, because it's just too crazy for it to be about
Amen.
Joe Biden. Yeah.
Amen. I really, I'm not in tune with what everyone is thinking, but I have that same feeling, dude. I'm just hoping that we all, as a population of this beautiful, great country, are going, hold up, we're not that stupid. There's something wrong with what we're being told.
I sure hope, man. I sure hope so. I have a lot of faith in humanity, and I know some glass half empty type people that and God, I'm kind of that way, but I know a lot of people would say I'm foolish for having that, but I do, dude. I really do. People have done some fantastic things. Think about all the amazing things we've done as human beings. Obviously, there's a whole lot of bad stuff, but we've done some really amazing and hard things, man.
We have, and we are living in the greatest time as a civilization, as a species. We have the best lives we have ever had on this planet. And even to just say, I know there's a lot of bad things out there, I don't think we need to state that. Everyone knows that there is bad, but everyone is so focused on that. We are living in the greatest time that anyone has ever experienced. We have the most luxuries. Less people are starving now than ever before.
True that, man. True that.
We are, and humanity is great. And a glass half full is so much better than a glass half empty. You have to be positive. It's all you have.
Dude, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. I need to take that advice sometimes myself, and I think everybody out there could use that advice. And it's the only way that we're going to surpass this stuff. The only way that we're going to come out on top of this seemingly insurmountable, mountain of corruption and pedophilia and drug smuggling and human trafficking, all this horrible stuff that happens, the only way that we're going to come out of it alive and on top is to continue to talk about it, to be good to each other, to be positive, to do the right thing. And we all have to do that, man. We all have to do that. God, imagine if everybody just woke up tomorrow and said a prayer and went about their day and didn't say anything mean to anyone. That would change history, bro. It would change history.
Talk to somebody. Got off their phone when they were checking out at the store.
Oh.
You know, any small little decent interaction. And if 100 million people do that every day, it would change the game. There's just no two ways about it.
It would change the game. We'd be perfect. Well, we wouldn't be perfect. We would be as close to perfect as you could get as a human being. We would be just that would be so great, man.